welcome to episode 8, Spark Your Interest podcast. It's a really special one today because we're going against the grain and we've got our first plumber on board. I'm joined with Mark from Mobile Plumbing here in Ballina. So, how you going, mate?
Good, mate. Yourself? Thanks for the invitation.
I'm going good.
This will be a good little chat.
You feeling proud to be the first plumber on a Sparky show?
Most definitely proud.
Because I know there's heaps of plumbers that listen because I've heard some good feedback from them. So, thought we'd better get one on. Tell us a little bit.
And you got one of the oldest ones.
Mate, old and wise. That's it.
Oh,
Wisdom.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Old school, that's what we want to hear about. Hopefully can give a bit of tips on our end, a bit of tips on your end, and I guess start with a little bit about your business and,
My business has been operating for probably 12 years in the area. I guess how that came about is I actually took over another business that was existing, that was failing, and built it up to where its present state is today. So, yeah, I guess it's hard work and
one of the more recognised businesses in the area. And
definitely,
with a good
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Good backing,
and that gets down to marketing. It's like everything. And obviously with MP Plumbing, it's not my name. It's Mobile Plumbing, and that was for a reason.
Yeah.
Because it's like everything else. New Age is a great name.
It's a brand,
equally, and it's a brand.
Yeah.
And I wanted a brand.
Yeah.
So I always do things differently to most other people. Other than commit yourself really hard.
Yeah.
And I think it's about committing yourself and putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
But also doing it quietly. I like to do things quietly, and I never really concern myself with what my competitors are doing. I just make sure I do it better than them.
I think that's such a good thing to do though, and take away. And I feel like especially younger crew get caught up in what everyone's doing, and I didn't win that job, and why did that guy get it? Because he hasn't been going as long as me, and why did he get it? And I know we got a bit of hate like that when we started, like coming in new, and people we probably rustled a few feathers coming out of nowhere and getting some good jobs under our belts and stuff. And I've always tried to have real good relationships with every Sparky that I can. I've never had any angst against losing a job to someone, and if I do, I'd keep it quiet. And
it's not personal.
Nah, you got to separate it. Yeah,
you're working for a client, and that's client's decision at the end of the day. You can only put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
And look at each job on its own merit, which is how I do it. And I still do things old school because I'm a visual person.
Yeah.
Being old school, I've been a plumber 47 years, so there's a lot of ground that I've covered over that. We've been exposed to a lot of different work over the years, a lot of different people. So you tend to grow with that and understand, and you've got to understand your customer, and you need to decide in the environment and have a plan for your business where you want to go. You can't just fluff around and, you've got to have a direction for yourself.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and then being able to stick to that and when things change, still stay on the right path of
it's not personal.
wanting what your
take
business
it
wants to
personally.
be.
You might think, bloody hell, how did they get that?
Say you quote a job for a builder, you don't get it. Does that put you off quoting for them again?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's just.
But
I'm
right on the front foot. I go, okay, we lost that job. And
why?
Why did we lose it? I've lost a job and someone was 9% cheaper, which is great. But then 12 months later, I was getting called from the builder, this particular builder, to come back and fix things up that he didn't do. That was within my quote.
Yeah.
So that 9%, he thought he was a false economy.
Yeah.
So I never get caught up on what I thought I might have got because there's always another door that opens.
Yeah. And do you think having relationships with builders gets you over the line sometimes if you are that little bit more expensive, or do you find that it's always price?
No, it's point of difference. Point of difference to me is what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
Okay, it's value for money. It's like everything. You want to. It's like we buy shoes, we buy clothes. You don't buy the cheapest. You go for middle of the road. I aim for middle of the road. Sometimes you're always a little bit higher, but it's what's involved and what your quote covers. Where I go through my plans
and you're bringing experience.
I go through my plans really methodically. I start from the ground and work all the way up. So there's a process I follow, which works for me because then I don't miss anything.
And that's where you got to. Put that like experience plus the jobs you've completed, like your resume almost
100%.
of like
Yeah, definitely.
you're looking at these guys that are coming up that are new, who might be 20 grand cheaper or maybe, you know, even 5 grand cheaper. And it's like, well, we've done it for 12 years.
Yes.
Minimum.
Yeah.
So I know what our pricing is.
Correct.
And then you know your price, you back it in and you know the work you can do. So if someone's going to go and choose someone that's cheaper, it's obviously, you can't take it as being personal because, you know, you go and you're choosing someone that's, you know, isn't going to stack up and do the same job.
And generally they miss things.
Yeah.
Now because of their inexperience. So as you would know yourself from where you've started.
Yeah.
From you know, going out your own, it's a massive step. You know, we've all done it. You know, you've worked for someone for 5-6 years or whatever, and you have that drive to grow. So you know, it's a natural progression.
Yeah, I think I went out with like no knowledge. I'd never quoted a job or anything. Like, and it took me like losing a lot of money to go, how do I go about this? And that was what made us get into a job management system where we would document every hour it takes to do stuff to be able to come up with an average to be able to quote a job. So like now the systems we've got in place, we'll run a job that's a quote and we run a running job card that the guys fill out every day. So at the end of the job, we know if we made or lost money
100%.
on that job.
I do that on every job.
And you do that every job. Because some people wouldn't do that. They don't know their cost.
Well, the concept that they don't see is we actually sell hours. We might be tradespeople, but we sell hours. We bill each of our trades and our staff out at 1 hour increments. Yeah, I can open that, mate.
I went the wrong one.
You going Twister?
I'm going to go this one.
Okay. Yeah, so I sell when I have meetings with other people in business. I do a business plan every year for myself, so I know where I'm heading.
Yeah.
And know what my costs are. So otherwise, how do you know? You
don't.
You've got to work out what
that's where companies come unstuck. I actually had an interesting conversation with someone once who has been in the game a lot longer than us, and they were talking to us, which is good. And it comes down to that thing of having relationships with. This was another Sparky. And someone who'd been doing it for 10 years and they were asking me advice on like job management systems and stuff we used and then talking about, oh, how do you know like pricing? And they hadn't changed their pricing for this one builder for like 5 years. And we were actually pricing against them for jobs and we were losing every time.
Yeah.
But I kept just pricing it and the guy we're pricing it, he was like, the fact that he just wasn't up to date with the way we were doing things and going, and I was just telling him like, this is what we do. And he's like, oh, wow, like, yeah, we don't do that. We got the kind of same price we've been using for a while, and that's probably why we were losing.
Well, they haven't grown. You know, they haven't grown with the environment, and things change. You know, like I don't price a job for me to do it. I price a job for my staff to do it, and I know my strengths and weaknesses of all my staff.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how do you know if you send one fellow to a job, he's going to do it in that time that you have allowed for, knowing full well that he's slower than my other guy,
because you kind of price for how long you think it's going to take.
Correct.
And then no one's ever as fast as you are in your head.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And let's face it, to a point, it's a guesstimate.
It is, yeah.
It is,
And you've got to overshoot it. And I guess that comes into the thing of, we were talking about like quoting versus cost plus. And I know we do a lot of jobs now where the builder's cost plus, but we're locked into a quote.
Yes.
But it's a job that moves with a lot of changes and stuff. So the amount of variations we need to be doing and working with is like crazy.
Well, see, generally, the minute if you go on a fixed price and then they start to change the fixed price contract as such, well, really, that quote becomes irrelevant.
Yeah,
because
that's how
and it gets down to quoting a job. It can be a real risk, but as long as you build your contingencies into it, and cover yourself with the worst case scenario, because that's the only way you can do it. So we don't mind going in that scenario, provided the job runs at its correct schedule and you don't have any blowout.
Which is out of your hands.
Which is out of your hands, because that's where it all fails.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do that job in 3 months. All of a sudden it takes 6 months. So all of a sudden your 3 months work is now 6 months. So you're losing half your job.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we're in relation to cost plus. Cost plus is great because you have less risk. It's all about risk.
Yeah.
So with a cost plus job, you have less risk, but you also have to have a really good relationship with that client,
and trust.
Because all of a sudden when they're paying per hour and it's costing the cost plus
And
time.
that's when people start going, oh, you took a bit of time to do that.
Right.
That shouldn't have taken you 4 hours.
Well, that's right.
Because
So
they're looking at it as, it's hard with us. Like, we prefer to quote because I hate the conflict of pricing on a job, which we're so documented. When we do like a cost plus job, it is the guys are putting the hours in every single day of a list of materials and a list of hours and a list of every single thing they've done. So it literally can't be argued. But
you can still do that with cost plus.
Yeah.
I do that now.
Yeah.
I have day sheets. Every day my guys fill out a day sheet.
Yeah.
They have to fill in their diary. I have no exception.
So do you run a job management system?
No, not at all.
All paperwork?
All paper. It's
paper.
old school.
Yeah.
A lot of it's sadly in my head, but also I allocate things to the guys that run the job, so it's their responsibility and to provide that documentation. And having office staff, I have an office manager as well as a reception downstairs for front of office. So their job role is to collate that every day. You know, every day they put it in. Or fill in their diary, you know, and I guess it's educating your staff to this is the plan. I could change and look at service mate and all that. Would you ever do that, or well, not at my stage in my work career.
You've known it. You've gone that far with it, and
I've tried it before.
A big change.
It didn't work for me.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I had iPads for my guys. And I'd say to them, well, where's your iPad? Oh, I left it at home. My son's playing games on it. Hello. It's hard enough to...
Yeah, it's hard.
And they've all got iPhones, and I could do the service mate and all these other applications, but then you're relying on them to put in the correct information.
Yeah.
And with so many components as there is in plumbing, and there is equally in electrical, if they miss on components and all that sort of stuff, well, and it doesn't get picked up, well, you lose.
Yeah, it's hard. I feel like with the amount of staff we got, it is hard to. I couldn't imagine doing it with paperwork, and because we can hold everyone accountable for everything. We can see who's done what.
Correct.
What's there. It auto feeds all the materials that they buy from the wholesale. Auto feeds into it.
Yep.
So there's nothing that can be misplaced or, whether someone was to buy something for themselves and you wouldn't know about. Everything that gets bought has to have a purchase order. Goes into a job.
We do that exactly the same. Yeah. From start to minute, the minute one of our customers rings the office, they get allocated a job number straight away, and that job number reflects through the whole job till final.
Yeah.
So we do catch stuff, and I guess with our suppliers, they know they have to email every receipt every day, and that could be 20, 30 sort of receipts, but that's the way it's got to be. Yeah. And that gets stapled onto the job. Like, it is old school and a lot more extra work.
Where I came from before, they did get into that, but there still was a lot of paper stuff where we've gone
totally
fully
paperless.
Everything paperless.
Yeah. I'd like to go
and
down
it is good, but I could imagine that it would be hard. And I think the good thing is we've started it from two guys.
Yep.
We had it from the start. We started with Service Mate, and as we grew, we've now moved to Simpro, which is like 100 times the cost.
Yes.
But the data, what I love about Simpro is everything's in there. So you get out what you put in. So as much data you put in, it will spit out prices of your costs of jobs.
Yep.
And everything, like, it's all data, it's all there. You put all your labour rates in, everything's in there, all the materials, and it'll tell you how much you've made or how much you've lost on a job easily.
We can do that with our spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So we run a spreadsheet on all our jobs.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's my office manager that's her role. And I guess because she's been with me for like 9 years, so it's, and that's the system we have, and it works for her. And I think because she knows the way the system runs, she's really efficient at what she does. So I hear what you're saying, and I've thought about it. I've been approached, and I guess, I've probably only got 5 years left in me.
Yeah. Just set it up and then sell the business.
Well, that's it, or do I just sell the business as it is and let it become someone else's problem?
Yeah. I think it's not just you though. It's all the guys that have to adapt to it as well. And if they worked for you for however many years, it's those teething problems of doing it. And if you got something that works, then,
Well, it works for all of us.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the thing. And I find it's a lot simpler for them because the boys, they come to the office every day, and generally our job board's already up. They know exactly every day from week to week where they're going to go. So in their mind, they're already thinking about where they're going.
Yeah, because you have whiteboards. I've been in your office, you've got the whiteboards and stuff in there, yeah.
And it's old school again, but it's really simple and it's a visual thing again, so everyone can just look at it at a glance and know exactly where.
So the guys come to the office every morning.
Out of the office, 7:10, on the job by 7:30.
Yeah, okay.
Knock off at 3:30.
Yeah.
And part of their role is at the end of the day, they do fill out their timesheet. They got the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I find it works, but getting back onto the quoting, it's a lot of work in a quote.
Yeah.
I generally only now give estimates because of the fluctuation and
it's
our environment that we're in now.
Yeah.
You can't give people a fixed price. So, and I have a clause in my quotes which basically states all of that.
Yeah.
This quote is only valid for 7 to 14 days because we all get price increases monthly.
It changes monthly at the moment,
And
but it's not even that. I think like being held to a quote, to me, if you're being held to a quote on a job where the builder is cost plus, still doesn't always sit right with me. And I feel like that to me means that job's going to change a lot.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
100%. Yes,
and how can you... We've actually navigated it really well. There's a lot of jobs we're doing on at the moment, and we're navigating it really well. But the only way we've been able to navigate it is by having a project manager run the job, which obviously is a cost that we don't charge at.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 guys now that work from the office and on site that have to be doing variations. Come back here, do a quote,
quote it off,
and it's another job in itself.
It is, and that should be chargeable built into through an admin fee or something in that respect. Like we have an admin fee now because there's so much that we have to cover that you don't charge for, like screws, for us Teflon tape, paste, there's glues, there's all sorts. So there's sundries or consumables. And at the end of the day, you're using those consumables on every job. Okay, it might last for 10 jobs, but so you got to work out in increments. So because at the end, it's all about the money. At the end of the day.
Well, while you're on the thing of consumables, I've got a shout out to the sponsor this week, Able Fix. You hear of these guys?
I have. We use them every day.
Do you? Oh, there you go. Able Fix sponsoring the podcast again this week.
Okay.
Mate, so do you keep big stock?
I'd like big ones like that because I think I'd probably find the guys chewing them like they do in their mouth or flicking them at each other.
Because that's what I was saying. Like when I'm speaking to Joel and the guys there, it's like having it's a thing that no one does. Yeah. Is have a big stockpile of consumables because everyone goes to we're getting into it now with these guys and I think it's way better.
I have a fair bit of stock in my factory and my guys know
alongside your boats and
toys. Alongside the toys.
you got room for consumables in there?
Lots of room and room for more toys.
Yeah, that's it.
They say he who dies with the most toys still dies.
But I'm not allowed to have toys here, so my business partner gets a bit angry when I have my camping gear, and then last night it all got dumped on my driveway. So I'm not allowed to have any toys here. I've got a sauna down there and an ice bath.
Doesn't he go out and play or something?
This is workplace only. Mate, no play. So I had to take all my toys away.
Mate, it's all about the environment.
Oh, that's why I got a shed so I can hide all my stuff here, so it's not at home.
My wife doesn't have a key to my shed. What do you think?
That's why you're there working late every night.
Yeah, that's it. That's not true. She knows most of the things that I buy. Yeah. I've been caught a couple of times. Well, I have. And I've had 2 boats in there and got accused of buying another boat, which was true, but I'd sold the other one, so it was. So that's all right. In my mind, I was all covered.
That's good.
We spoke earlier, you were going to speak about the different trades working in with each other. I think it's essential. Yeah. I have always always make a point of finding out who the other trades are and having a chat to them because we cross paths and there's work that we all do that affects each other.
You're helping each other, having a good relationship. The other 100%. Thing is having a good relationship with the same trades is always good because it's going to... I don't want to see everyone as competition, and if you can see everyone has been able to help each other, and I've got a couple of guys lined up that are going to come on, we're going to do with some other Sparkies and talk about that, because I've got some guys that I've talked to, that we go through quotes and pricing and stuff like that. Yeah. And having that relationship with other people in the same trade is good to keep your rates the same. And to stay fair, if you go and charging $70 an hour and you're on 100 and you go, mate, what are you doing?
Well, it's not price fixing. Yeah. I think it's just making it fair for everyone.
Yeah, and that's it, across the board. Yeah. And then in regards to keeping a good relationship with other trades is us tipping each other into jobs, which we do all the
100%.
time.
Well, I'm more than happy. I support a lot of other plumbers. So like I give other plumbers work, but also equally a lot of plumbers recommend us. One, because they know we'll help them, and I help most people. There's a couple out there that I probably wouldn't help, but there's reasons why, and we do everything. But I'm always up for helping other guys, and without an issue. If they want to borrow tools, no problem. We do other work for plumbers that don't have the equipment we have, because they don't invest in their business. It's about your business wants to grow, you have to invest in it.
And it's interesting when you say that, because the way we work is we usually have a year of growth, and then we have like a year of like not plateauing, but we kind of run that year of growth. So I notice like profits and stuff in that year of growth. We put on 3 tradies and we buy 3 cars. That's a year of growth where your profit's down, but then the next year you build that back from the extra work you're doing, and then you build again. So I noticed the years where we have growth and investing in tools and stuff. Like if we need to buy something, I just say to the guys, go and buy it. Because we don't need to be borrowing this and borrowing that. I want to have everything that we can do. I haven't got an excavator yet. That's the next. You don't need that might be the next thing. We'll keep borrowing one at the moment.
And one thing you've got to be aware of is what's called growth strain.
Yeah.
And that, a lot of people struggle with that, but you have to have that in your mind that, okay, I want to put on more staff and buy more equipment. Okay, that's great. Have I got the money to do it?
Yeah.
Because if you might have the work, but have you got the funds behind you?
And have you got the future work as well?
Yeah, like right. I plan a year in advance. I already know what I've got for next year. I already have documentation on my table, notes and everything for work for next year and 26. So, which enables you to do your business plan and forecasting, because I do budgets and forecasting. And you have to do it, otherwise. You might have guys working one-man operations and they're charging $65 and they're working out of their truck. They think they're killing it. They're not even making $25 an hour.
They don't know what they're doing.
But they have no, like I commend guys that are happy to do it and all that, but it's not for me.
And that's one thing I'd if there is people like that are doing that, I would never hesitate for someone to come and ask questions or whatever to help build someone up.
Yeah, for sure.
That's maybe thinks they're doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing and they needed some advice. Like, you're not going to go and tell your secrets to someone, but if someone's going, hey mate, like, where do you think I start? And there's a couple of guys in Lennox that are starting their own businesses and come for a bit of advice, and not just Sparkies, but I'm happy to sit down and sort of give that. I'd love to see people do good. And it doesn't matter if someone's another Sparky that might take a job from me. I want to see people like succeed, and I think.
But he hasn't taken that job off you. He's been given the opportunity.
Exactly.
And it's not because you've done anything wrong.
Yeah, it's not stealing. I think that's the wrong word, because it's like someone saying, "Oh, taking it from me." It's like it's not your job. I don't know if people get with like if a builder uses another trade.
Yes.
That's not them stealing your builder. The builder's gone there for a reason.
That's right.
You haven't provided the service that you should be providing to keep that builder happy. Then or your pricing isn't right, or whatever it is.
See, I'll ring if I price a job and we don't hear back. I'll ring that particular builder or customer and say, "Oh, thanks for giving us the opportunity. How did we go?" And it's not to ask any derogative questions, other than for me personally, I want to know. Okay, well, if I look upon it as a bit of a personal failure, which is probably wrong, but. I'm probably the hardest critic of all, because I think, well, okay, well, where did I fail?
But that's good.
What do I need to change? Because obviously you've got to be in the market. I recently sent one of my staff members to Sydney to do a course, which is going to benefit our business for backflow prevention and testing, because it has to be done in every factory every year, and they're bringing more things to the table, the council and the powers to be. In the conversation, a briefing that we had, a debrief on Monday, I said to him, "So how was it?" He said it was fantastic. And then we got onto the guys that he met, they're charging in Sydney. And their charges in Sydney is about double what we charge.
It's crazy.
And I said to him, "Well, that's fantastic." But I said, we would be out of business up here, because people are so hooked up on still thinking they have to
what's interesting,
$50 an hour.
A lot of the people that come here that are getting a building are from the cities and used to paying those prices, and they come here and it can't be more expensive. And we keep hearing this Northern Rivers tax of apparently Byron that area is charging more money than Lismore and out. And like, I've had that a couple of times said to me, like, oh, you're just a Byron trade, you got Byron prices. And I don't think that's, I just think that's a cop out for people.
It is.
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah. And I've had people saying, oh, it must be awesome. You live in paradise, you know. I go, yeah, but you still have to eat in paradise.
Well, how many plumbers are there in the area? Like a lot.
I have no idea, to be honest.
Hundreds.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'd be the same with Sparkies.
You see different trucks and you sort of look at it, but
then you also have people coming down from the Goldie, which is the biggest undercut, because I don't know what they're paying their blokes up there, but some of the times we're competing against them, and it's
the guys
crazy.
are coming down from there are the project home guys, and so I'm not in that market. So I have been and to as people who have been at, you've got to have 10 on the go at once. You have one mistake and you've lost your profit on that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work for half the amount of money. So it's not the sort of the jobs I want to chase.
No, we're the same, yeah.
You know, I like the hard jobs. I want jobs that make my guys think and make us think about it.
And they
really
want to be on.
And you know, we have a really good customer base and a lot of people that it's repeat work. You know, so they know what we charge, they know what we offer, they know the service we can give them, and it's at the end, that's what we want. And we treat our customers like we all like to be treated. Because trades, let's face it, trades have the worst reputation for one, turning up late, not returning phone calls, and
messy.
There's no excuse, you know.
And even the thing of overcharging and ripping people off, like that's what.
Oh, we're very conscious of that. And we're always approachable on getting an account.
Same,
And people will ring and do. People ring.
But and that's the thing. Sometimes mistakes happen. So I know with the size we're at, I don't do every invoice. Like the girls are doing it, they don't know what everything is. Something might get charged wrong, and that's the thing with having stuff online. Yeah, so the wrong thing might get charged. That's double the price or something. And sometimes a client might pick that up and mention it, and it's like, oh, sorry, no, 100% we'll change it or something.
I check 90% of my invoices, and I read over what the guys do because I can read their job card and their what they've used on their job.
And you know what it is,
And I've picked them up before where they've installed water pipes and there's all the fittings but no pipe. Well, okay, well, where's the 6 lengths of copper pipe that you used on this job that I know you needed? Oh, I forgot to put that on. So that's again me being a visual thing.
Which, like to you, few $100, but if that happens once a week over a year, it's a lot of money. And that's the thing that the guys that work for you don't always see, even if it's something small. Happens over and over again, just consumables. Those things that you don't charge out, but over a year you might spend 10 grand on consumables. 100%. And if they're not getting charged out.
And everyone makes mistakes. We all make mistakes. I still make mistakes, but I guess if you're the boss, you can sort of you cover your mistakes. And
it's hard. There's a lot of pressure on you that I don't think many people, unless you do run a business, see, and it's stuff like making sure you're keeping work for your employees. That's a stress that if you got work, people just rock up thinking, no, you got work there forever. But you behind the scenes and making sure that you're trying to win these quotes and chase work.
That's my role in my business is actually I generate the work.
And it's like client relations.
I'm the one that goes out to every job. Maintenance, no, but on bigger jobs, I always do a site visit. I want to meet the people. And what it does, two things. You get an idea of who you're actually going to be working for, because I'm really selective who I work for, and it's been taken me a long time to be able to be in that position. But we also take on work because we've still got to generate an income and a cash flow for our business to be able to employ people. So we might do jobs that we don't really want to do, but we do them because we need the cash flow. And pay our guys.
That's it. And like, not every job's going to be the cream. And we know you've done some good stuff.
We've done some amazing work for some amazing people. And still do a lot of their people work.
And it's like stuff you can't even really share. Or,
not at all. No.
So it's all hush hush.
Look, I'm happy to sign private documents for all my clients, and I do offer it to them, regardless whether they're celebrities or Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And every job we look at it's private. It's no one else. We do take photos, and I have photos of all our jobs, but that's for no one else other than our records. And it's saved our bacon on a number of occasions 100%. Where we've been accused of doing something incorrectly, and something's happened, and I can revert back to that. So
photos are mandatory for all our guys. 100%. Is photos before you do something and after, and it's like comes down to like the small, if it's like a 20-minute call out to something, and it's like, mate, I don't care. I want 5 photos in a job. Because
100%.
when we get called up that you scratched the wall over there, but you've got a photo before and after, and the scratch wasn't there,
Oh, for sure.
then
It saved us all having to replace bench tops and so forth. Recently we got accused of scratching a bench top, and when I went on site and looked at it, it was actually the grain of the timber, so it wasn't even a scratch. I'm really
that would have been a good one to pick 'em up with.
really proactive. If one of our customer has a concern and
you're not brushing it off.
we don't. I actually physically go out, and even with their account, I actually grab it and I ring them and go through it with them. So I think you've got to be. You're the face of the business, so you've got to be prepared to put yourself out there.
It's a hard thing that I'm noticing now growing, where I can't get around to everything. And I hate it because I could, if I did that, my whole day would just be going around. I wouldn't be doing anything. I'd just be going around every job. We might have 10 jobs running a day. If we got 2 crews, 20 guys, that's 10 jobs a day.
Well,
you can't get around to that.
Delegate. You've got to learn to be able to let go and pick and choose.
But I still need to make sure I'm keeping relationships with everyone that I can, big or small. It doesn't matter. Like, I'll go to a job where it's a one-man band builder and still go and see it. It doesn't mean because I'm bigger, I'm only going to go to the $1 million jobs. It's not like that. And I want to try and get around to everything. And then us pulling in project managers is like the extension of me. And I'm like, they're still talking to me, but they're the guys then going to the jobs.
Sometimes a phone call is enough.
Yeah.
So you
checking
don't,
in.
like at the end, I've always been a believer I'm not prepared to ask someone else to do something unless I'm prepared to do it myself. So I still do get dirty and get on the tools and get on the shovel where I need to, because then the guys that work for you can't turn around and say, well, how would you know? You never do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hang on, mate.
Yeah.
I think I've forgotten more than you know at the moment, so let's just move on. And
I still love doing that, and I don't get on the tools as much as I want to. And the hard thing is I never set out to be, I'm probably more of a businessman than I am a tradie.
Sure. You are.
But I never set out to do that. I never wanted to do that.
It's just a progression, and it's something that just happens without you even realising.
I'll be in a suit soon.
Yeah, because this part of the job is equally as important as doing the work, and where a lot of our small trades fail, regardless whether you're a plumber or anyone, you can go out and do the work and do a great job. But if you're not prepared to come back to the office and be disciplined enough to do your paperwork, which is actually more important than actually doing the job, because otherwise you're going out and doing the job and you're not going to get paid.
And you got to give up
free.
I think one of the biggest things, I gave up so much time with my family when I started the business.
Yeah.
And it's good now. I have the freedom to be able to take a day when I need to or do whatever I want.
Systems in place.
Yeah.
I failed many, many years ago when I was working for myself, and my wife would say to me, you got to do the accounts, and then all of a sudden you look at your bank account, you got zero because you've done no accounts.
Yeah.
So, you learn really quickly that you need to be disciplined, and probably the paperwork side of it, I've always sort of struggled with that side of it. So this is where you employ people in a business like yours and mine that can do the job way better than you can do it, because that's the success. So you know that's covered. You still have to have control, but you can rely on these people to do it, and they can do it much better than I could. So
that's one thing I'd say. One of the hardest things for me was giving up stuff, and then like hiring people, and you have to give something up. And I like hiring admin for me was really hard. And I remember calling you at the time and being like, I think I'm ready to
do this. Where do I go?
Hire admin, and where do you find someone, and do you need someone with experience, and how much does it cost, and all that stuff. And it was one of the hardest things trying to pick someone, and luckily who we needed someone that fitted in with the business and with the guys, and it worked really well. What we got now, we've gone from 1 to 2, so 2 full-time in here, plus like the office is pretty much full. There's like 6 of us up here now.
It is. You need a bigger office.
But you need everyone to be able to click with each other, but being able to delegate stuff. And now I'm just like, book me an appointment at like, you know what I mean? Like, I've gone from trying to do everything to being able to feel not bad to delegate stuff. And I'm not saying that they are my personal assistants.
Yeah, but it's a PA. I have a PA because you can't do it all.
Nah, that's it. And I forget stuff, so I almost need them to like remind me. Forty, do you remember you got that appointment today?
We're only blokes, mate. Let's face it.
I know. And I'm like, I used to keep that on my head, and now I feel like it's good having that, so I can.
And you've got to have that mindset that be prepared to relieve some of that stress, because you can't do it all. Because once you try and do it all and you're not planning, you plan to fail.
And you're crumbling yourself. You're literally hurting yourself and your business by not it might cost. That's the other thing. It costs you money to hire someone because they're non-billable hours in your admin, and that's a scary thing for someone to jump from thinking in the mindset of everyone that works for me, I have to bill out and I have to get 8 hours a day out of them, because that's never going to happen.
You work on 6.7.
Yeah.
Work on?
So that's never going to happen. Then you've got to hire. So it's all about working out your overheads to be able to, if I'm going to hire admin and I don't have that, if you don't know your overheads, you're stuffed, because you need to know all that.
All your office staff, and even yourself and myself, is actually...
I'm non-billable now.
I'm a liability to the company.
Yeah.
So I'm not an asset anymore.
No.
The only asset is I generate the work and make it all come together.
Well, that's it. So the more you're doing of that,
still 100% essential.
Yeah.
So instead of working in the business, you work on the business, and so that's where your mindset changes.
Yeah.
I think that's where as you grow, you've got to have that ability to understand your role changes.
That's it, and being able to navigate that through it, and there's going to change. Well, we might end up having to hire someone else, and then again, and again, and then that's where the admin staff then have to learn to give stuff up to the next person that comes through as well. It's like the levels of it.
It's that ratio. There's a ratio of workers who pay for all of that.
Yeah.
So if you're charging $100 an hour, you've got to work out how far that $100 has got to go. And that where you do your business plan, which gives you the structure of what your core cost of running your business is per week, and your billable hours per week.
Well, that's where we have a spreadsheet where we probably do it every 3 to 6 months when we have big changes.
Yep.
And it has every single costing we take out of zero, and we put it in there, and it has every single labour person that works for us in there, and it nuts it all out of what every single person costs. And the first time I did that, I nearly had a heart attack.
Yep.
When you realise that you completely undercharge for what you're doing.
Yeah.
But then you got to be able to, you got to charge more money, you got to be able to back that service up. Because 100%. If you're just going, my blokes cost me 110, I'm going to charge $120 an hour, that's all well and good. But if you aren't backing up a $120 service, then
you're going to fail.
You're going to fail. 100%.
Look,
no one's going to use it.
I have builders rates and I have general rates for our maintenance guys, because that's different. You're spending a lot more time on the road.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot more work involved in doing
ordering
10 jobs all over the place. Plus, I have a van that is like a travelling hardware, effectively, that would have
depreciation,
$200,000 worth of bloody equipment in it at any one given time. And it generally, he's able to go to 5 different jobs and look at them and work on them. Where my builder's rate's different, because you're there for the whole day.
Yeah, exactly. And that's 8 hours.
And that's a huge cost for the builder and also for the customer.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, I'm always trying to justify my cost, but when you put on, it's what we offer.
Yeah,
you got to have a service. I can have a plumber on somewhere. If someone rings up for emergency, I can have a guy there within an hour. And generally, there's not a lot of places here that you could count on one hand that could do it.
Yeah, and we're the same. Like we do a lot of reactive work for the pubs and stuff, and we got to be able to get there. And the other good thing is, if there's 6 of us in here, 4 of us are Sparkies.
Yeah.
So if there is a major, then that's when I get to put my tool belt on and go.
Well,
I
do exactly the same thing.
You can
I do the weekend stuff. Like
I'm blocking the toilets on the Saturday.
Definitely. I'll go and do the maintenance, because my guys work really hard during the week and they have a family.
Yeah.
So I don't want to, as much as I'd like, I give them the option. I'll ring them and go, hey mate, I've got this job. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm busy. That's fine. I'll go and do it, because it's great. I want them to work really hard Monday to Friday. The weekend
give
is
the option
theirs,
for them,
but I do give them the option.
Yeah. And that's like the guys come to us because some people want more money or whatever, and we put guys on call, but we still have it as, do you want to do it? And there's guys that want to do it. There's got some guys that don't want to do it. So
when you say they want more money, that's great. But what makes them think they're worth more money?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean within the more money of working a Saturday. So it's like if you want that extra money, we can book a Saturday and we can do that. If we're busy, we'll get Saturdays booked in.
What they don't also understand is, for you to do that and book that, you actually have to make sure again. So that you need to do some of their work for that day equally. You can't just let them go on their own. So
even like if I'm booking in a Saturday for someone and they want to do it and we're busy, I'm not charging that client at a Saturday. I just do it. It's just a normal rate, and the only reason I'm doing it is so the guys can make the extra money, but the client gets charged the normal rate.
Yeah. So
So
you're
therefore,
losing
double
out.
time, we're not making any money.
No, you're losing.
But it's just, if they want to do that and we're busy, then I allow that to happen. Whereas that's, I think that's good for them. If I want to make some extra money this week, well, I'll just book this job in. It's a normal rate. We call the client, and we might just make a deal with them, and then they can figure it out.
Yeah.
And then it's trying to avoid people doing cashies as well. Like, it's the start of someone maybe starting their own business, and not always, but like, if you've got an employee that's, we don't have it, but like disgruntled, and they start going, I'm going to start buying stuff on the account, doing my own jobs, and
you can pick it up.
You can pick that up, and we have never had that trouble.
I have a really great relationship with all my suppliers.
Yeah,
they're not telling tales, but they they let you know. Most of my guys have accounts at various places, and I've always been upfront with the guys and say, if you're going to do a cashy, just tell me.
Yeah.
And if you're going to use anything out of the van, replace it.
Well, this is
because they're going to do it regardless. Where if you have this open conversation, and you're like me, my trucks are so stick out like a sore thumb everywhere. They don't have a lot of sign, but they're very obvious.
Yeah, it's visual. Yeah.
And I know so many people in the areas and all of this whole area from Tweed to Casino, Grafton, everywhere. And you get the phone call, I saw one of your trucks down at such and such. And so they get found out. So and I have this conversation with them because I think you have to. And
just not
the ground rules.
Yeah, taking the piss out of what you're giving them, because a lot of people don't let people take their cars home. So we let everyone take their car home. So which is fine, because to me that's marketing around the local areas. So that's fine. Yeah. Some people aren't even allowed to do that. They have to drive back to the shed every hour. We don't. No. So it's like that thing, like, you can take the car home, but don't go on a holiday.
No.
To 4 hours away and use my fuel to get there.
My guys have access to the vehicles, and again, I have a relationship with them where if they want to use it, or they do ring me still. Even my head plumber, who's got 100% use of it, I don't care what he does with it. Yeah. It's that respect that he still rings you, goes, do you mind if I, Presso, do you mind if I go down to Evans? I was like, mate, knock yourself out, go for it.
And the guys are good. Like, do you mind if I do that? I'm going to put my own fuel in or whatever if I'm going on a
I'm
trip.
happy to do that. But what I do say to them, just remember that car is our tool. A work vehicle is a work tool. It's got to go from Monday to Tuesday and not stop, you know. So whatever you use it for over and above, just make sure you don't damage it. Because
exactly.
I have, vehicle clauses on their contracts, because my guys are on contracts, and that's to protect them equally as to protect me. So it's an understanding. Yeah. I have vehicle policies where they understand their rights, and
if they crash the car, they pay the excess.
They do.
That's what we have as well. I think that's fair, because we had literally a stint where there was a crash like 3 times in 1 week, and we were paying all the excess, and I was going, hang on, like, this isn't right. Blokes are like
taking the piss,
driving them like dodgem cars now.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll get going back to the with the use of vehicles outside of work for cashies, like a story that happened with us that we have obviously used with the other guys, and they all know about it, is when a guy that was working for us did a cashy and seriously injured himself. So.
Well, that's huge ramifications there. He's not covered work cover.
Not covered work cover.
And the problem also is...
But it cost him, like, I think maybe tens of thousands of dollars with surgeries. Yeah. And it wasn't done at work, but it was in a work vehicle. And...
The only saving grace is, one, he's using the vehicle out of work hours. So that saves you in that respect. Yeah. But still, it's... your van with your name all over it. Yeah. So the problem is they see something happen, straight away they don't think it's the problem of the guy who's had the accident. They look at the company. Yeah. Because that's the face.
Well, they're a representation of you, no matter what they do. It's the same thing as we give away a lot of merch to people as well, like T-shirts and hats and everything. Yes. So you got to be careful who you give that to, because we've had things where, one of you guys is down the pub abusing people, and I'm going, what? Send me a photo. And I send a photo, and I'm like, he doesn't work for us. And it's just someone has one of our T-shirts on, whether it's from one of their mates that works for us or something. Like, it's it's a hard thing because you want people to have you want to be able to get it out there and get your name out there, but then that has scared me where I literally had a phone call from someone saying, there's a bloke here at the pub abusing people and he's got your shirt on, he must work for you. And that's someone telling that. So imagine the people sitting there going, man, I'm never going to use them.
Look at this
guy.
Look at this guy.
So
for sure.
Once you put it out there, I've now made separate T-shirts that aren't the work T-shirts that I give to people.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I find hats with my logo are fine because I've always, without being too much of a tight ass, I guess I don't just throw things around because you got to look at what value for money. So I guess that's not penny pinching, but I'm happy to give things, and I think you got to get something back. Yeah, to a point. To a point. Yeah, for sure. It's like when my guys ask me for pay rises, that's great. I say, well, that's fantastic. Okay, I'll give you the pay rise. What am I going to get back in return? Yeah. And I've had a guy look at me and go, what do you mean? Yeah. I said, well, I'm giving you something. What am I going to get back? Nothing's for free. Oh, well, I'm coming back to work. Oh, no, so you don't understand what I'm saying. Yeah. So okay, I'll give you more money. So instead of you going home at 3:30, I want you to come back to the office and organise your day for the next one. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I want to do that. Well, well, why should I give you a pay rise if you're not prepared to give me something back? Yeah, I think that's 100% fair, and that's what, if we're going to put people up in pay rises, it's because they've stepped up and taken on more roles. Sure. It's not just because, oh yeah, you've worked for us for 3 months, now you get a pay rise. It's like, well, have you earned that? Because that's right. To me, if I'm going to, I need to see value for money. For sure. We pay all our guys above board. Yeah. All of them get paid well above the basic wage, which is, you couldn't live on the basic wage anyway, let's face it, but it's irrelevant. But and we definitely look at our guys quarterly, 6 monthly or whatever. And, we're open with it. You can afford to do it though. It's great to give these guys pay rises, but if you can't afford to do it, your hands are tied. Yeah. And that's why we do look at things like cost analysis and job and be like, well, mate, all the jobs you're doing that we're quoted, you're doing really good and you were making money. So, yeah, I'm happy to share that. Yeah, no, all the jobs you're doing are quoted and we're losing money because you're taking too long or too slow or something. Oh, we keep having these mistakes. So, there's got to be give and get. And I don't think, we're pretty open with people, and most people don't really come to us and we kind of have a conversation around it, or we go to them before they come. Yeah. And we know because they've stepped up, and we can go, look, you guys are going real well. We want to do this and put you under this. Well, it's like everyone. And I think I want my guys to enjoy coming to work. Yeah. So it's got to be a good work environment, I know our environment is good because we do stuff together, and I see my guys every day, and we'll throw breakfast and it's culture. You got to have a good culture. It's a great culture. And my guys are really respectful. Yeah. That's it. But I treat them like family. Yeah. Like a great, and because you spend so much time at work with your work people. Yeah, more than everyone else. And you have to, do it. Yeah. I think it's essential for sure. That's it. And I'm happy to help other trades, and it's the way to do it. Yeah. Sure. I think that's the biggest thing you can take out of it is starting to build relationships with other trades and your same trades, and just making sure. Well, it's point of difference. Yeah. Any business has a point of difference, and it's what you actually offer that's different to your competitors. Yours is good service, good work, and we get a lot of repeat work because we turn up on time. Our vehicles are clean. Yeah. So it's that first impression that is lasting, and that goes with everything. Yeah. If you turn up in a crappy old ute that's blowing smoke, step out, having your fag flick, nothing against people that smoke, but if you can imagine, it puts something in the client straight away going, what? Clients looking at, judging you with no reason. You could be the best tradesman. You just a little bit untidy, but that's no presentation. It's that presentation. It's what that first impression your customer looks and expects. Everyone judges on face value straight away. Sadly, yes, society is pretty harsh. First impression, judging the book by its cover, is what everyone does. So if you're rocking up, it's doing interesting. That. I spoke to my secretary about coming to do this podcast today, and when you asked me, I thought, oh, that'd be really good, but I was also really concerned because I'm not a big social media fan, and I really don't care what anyone thinks. I couldn't give a rat's ass, to be honest. They all think of the tall poppy syndrome, but They say, "Oh, you're really lucky, Presto." Lucky, I work 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's lucky's not
Yeah.
something that just falls on you.
Nah.
You earn it.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad I did because
Yeah.
I think it's stepping out of my comfort zone. But
Well, that's
and
sort
if
of
you
like
can
what I'm doing as well. It's
help
not,
someone along the way.
no, if it helps one person, listen, and I've been thanks to the people that have been sending messages and reaching out and saying, I think there's a lot of people that looking to start their own business or doing whatever and just taking little bits of advice, and it might be the littlest thing going, oh, that was really good, I enjoyed it, or it's not. This isn't to make money or do anything.
Not at all.
I'm doing it to step out of my comfort zone, have a bit of fun doing it.
I think it's good. It's good for your growth as well. Personally, I think it's great.
I think so. I sucked at English and stuff like that, and I'm finding it. I'm trying to do it without swearing a lot. I feel like I throw a lot of swear words in there and stuff, and it depends who I get on, because George's one was real bad, but that's because it's her fault. And her nan did pull her up in that. That's
I'll
not
just
me.
say, you're fucking being great.
Yeah,
right?
I've been really, really good this time.
People judge me, and I know they do, but the people that judge you don't know you.
Yeah,
so
and
that's why it never bothers me. And I only let people see me for the amount of what I want to share. So
it's the little things that like
behind the scene that people.
You look at the people
know.
that are judging people, whatever. Like, how much are they doing for the community? Like, what do you do? We do. Everyone do for the community. Things like that. Like, what's your business giving back or doing? And it's normally the people that are saying shit that don't do anything.
That's
don't have any part of that,
That's
or
it's the classic
don't provide
example.
anything. Yeah,
the bloke at the local club yells the hardest, does the least.
exactly.
So like behind the scenes, we help all our customers. The people who ring up to have blown up hot water unit and have no money, so we put in a temporary for them until they can save up and do it at no cost to them.
Yeah.
So.
But that's why you've been here for 12 years.
Yeah,
and as you probably see all these people come and go and giving it, big.
Yeah.
But where are they now?
Don't know, don't care.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it.
I don't worry about them, to be honest.
You don't need to. Because you've got your business, you're on your track, you know where you're going.
Yeah.
You don't need to be concerned with anyone else. And I think trying to keep relationships where you can is a big thing.
100%.
So
we all can work in together and equally. There's people in the area that won't help you in any way and will criticise you, but that's because they're threatened by you. Or I have no time for them.
No, and you don't need to be. Like I think breaking down the bridge between plumbers and Sparkies. We didn't even get to talk about poo.
There's lots of shit around.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, that's it.
And as they say, there's a lot of money in shit.
Yeah, wow, that's it. Who makes the most money? Who has the best job?
I was good at school, but I was just a turd, to be honest. I was a little turd, and probably still am to a point. But I got expelled in year 10.
Yeah.
So schooling's a great thing, but it is for some people and it's not for others. But it never stopped me from achieving what I wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
So it's here. It's not. You learn as you go.
Yeah.
But if it's common sense and
motivated to be able to do something good,
for sure,
and you want to do it, it's just like saying, and like what you said before, like looking at someone going, oh, they've got the best of this and that, and they're doing really well. It's like, yeah, but you've put in a lot of hard work. You don't get a business that's successful from it falling on your lap. You haven't got it from daddy's money. You've built this business from the ground up.
My dad died when I was 22 years old.
And you'll keep doing it.
A huge influence in my life, and I missed out on his. He was a very smart man, a very good businessman, but at 22, I was starting my life, and sadly, I didn't have him to guide me along the way. So I had my brother, but he was in a different industry, totally different opposites. I am totally opposite, but great man. That he helps me now So I had to learn along the way, and I learned the hard way, losing money, making wrong decisions. Making the wrong decisions. We all do it, but trying to limit that is...
Mistakes are good because that's where you learn. And if you don't make mistakes, you never learn. So you can never be all up.
Well, you can learn with not making mistakes by putting yourself out there. And having the confidence to be able to step out of your comfort zone and backing yourself. And I think if you can back yourself, the rest will follow.
And that's it. How many times where something has gone wrong, or you go, wow, like it's, you can take something out of it as well.
100%,
yeah, like
for
that,
sure.
like for people listening, if something does happen, it's not all bad. You got to take the good out of that and the growth out of that, and look at how everyone's going to make mistakes.
We all make mistakes. But what I don't do is yell and scream, because it doesn't. The person's already made the mistake and feels like crap anyway, and you yelling and screaming and throwing shit at them.
Solutions
doesn't help we just fix it and say, and then talk about it and go, man, you fucked up. Yeah. Okay. Have you learnt from this? Let's move on, because one, I don't take anything on that upsets me, because I'm not going to give people that little edge over me to think they've affected me. I might do it quietly behind when I'm on my own and go, holy shit, but I won't let people get to me and drag me down. And I think that's been my saviour in a lot of ways. We all suffer depression. I have. And we'd all be lying if we haven't of some matters. And
especially as like saying, running a business and having all that weight on your shoulders, having family, and knowing that you're not secure, because just because you run your own business doesn't mean you're financially secure or anything. If anything, you're probably worse than anyone else.
Mate, my house is on the line too.
That's
guys.
what I mean.
Hello.
So you've got all of that weight on your shoulders, let alone keeping all your employees in work. And people probably don't realise that sometimes. And I was listening to a thing the other day where it's like, people don't give people enough gratitude for stuff, and sometimes someone going, man, I'm really proud of what you've done, goes such a long way. And when I hear it from people, I kind of, sometimes I get it from people sometimes. They go, mate, you must be so proud of like what you've built, and I kind of like don't step back and think about it. But then when you do, and when you hear it from someone, it makes
it
nice
worthwhile, because we all like to feel, I guess, important and make sure that we're contributing, and because it's all about self-worth. Equally, like we're all ego, like we've all got an ego, and like you'd be lying to say, I love to be able to look at the stuff that we've done, and also the guys, what my staff have done, and I'm really proud of it,
No, well, that's it. Sure. And if you're not, then that's... You're bigging yourself up is like, there's nothing wrong with that. And backing yourself in for being the best, or you're not going around going, we're the best in the...
Not
but
at
like
all.
Knowing that you are good at what you do is an asset to your business for sure, and backing yourself in for that. And like, that's what makes you put yourself forward for the big jobs and doing that stuff, because you know you can do it.
Definitely. And the stress side of it, unfortunately, you're never going to stop it, but it's a way how you deal with your stress. So there's times that I'll be driving home and I've had the worst day, so I don't go straight home. I'll go sit at the point. I'm not going to jump off and do anything silly, but what it does do, I just sit there and just look out, calm myself down, because I don't take the shit home. My wife doesn't need, or my kids need to feel that aggression in me, because that's my...
Get rid of it.
I drive up my driveway, open the gate, close the gate, and then that's it.
Because to you, my life. To them, you're not the businessman. They don't know what you've gone through today. You're dad. So if you walk through the door and you're stressed, it doesn't matter what you've done in the day. Like, you've still got to be there for your family. And that's one thing. Like, I get home and my wife will tell me about all the stressful stuff that's happened, and I might be going, fuck, well, you know what? I had this, like, someone this nearly died today. And, you can't compare it, because it's so different, and you just have to be there and go, and put your stress aside to be there for you, because they need that as well. So,
it's a 50-50 deal, for sure. I find that's why I've ran businesses from home. And it is the hardest thing, because there's no disconnection. You've got to be able to disconnect.
I love having this office now, and it's great because separate from it.
Like, I'm at my office. It's around 6:30, and I'm always home by 6. Generally, because after the office staff go, I do stuff that I want to do for me, because people say, oh, you need time for yourself. You need to connect. Well, that's my disconnection. So that's where I'll go and make some shit and stuff in the factory that I want for myself, or work on my boat, or work on my other stuff that I might be doing. I make water skis as well. So there's a lot of stuff that I do, and I sponsor people, and so there's a lot that people don't see. So I make race skis for water skiing, because it's been part of my life. I was 3 years old when I started skiing. I'm 63 now, so holy shit, man! Like, where's the time go? But you only get out what you're prepared to put in. And like you guys are doing a great job. I see people have commented, said, man, they have so many trucks around. I go, yeah, but it's because they're employing good quality staff, so they've got great work.
Yeah.
You know? And again, you only get out what you put in.
Yeah, it's good to hear, and yeah, it's good to hear that from other people. And I guess, you know, sometimes you only do hear the negatives and you don't hear positives, and people saying bad stuff about you but don't even know you and whatever. And it's I've got no time for that, and I don't it doesn't affect me.
But it's that social media thing. I think that you see it everywhere. Why, you know, you look at the young kids that sadly commit suicide because I always say to them, if you don't like it, turn it off.
Yeah.
You can turn it off and not subscribe to that.
Yeah.
But it's that
connection
that
to
connection,
it.
and I think it's sad. I really wish people could just turn it off and disconnect themselves from it
and realise how that you don't need that.
Well, and don't take the judgment bad from that person who doesn't know you.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually they look worse than what they believe because it's actually boomerang.
Put it on your hate wall and use it as fuel.
I do. I look at it and I sort of chuckle and laugh. You know?
Well, it's a good thing that like Ned Brockman did, and they before he did his run, and people said he couldn't do the big run around Australia, and he'd put it on his wall and look at it every day, and that built him up to be able to do it, and like that's what motivated him. And I think that's like such a good thing. You know, people are going to hate on you for whatever. You know, use it against them, prove them wrong, and succeed. Because to me, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep growing and growing until
there's something
I can't anymore.
I saw on Facebook, and I say I don't go on social media, but we're all a bit addicted to Facebook.
Yeah.
Not that I contribute. I just like it's a sort of thing of winding down. Just look what's going on. And there's a little clip that's got a bit of paper which has got on the letter written on it, "I can't," with a pair of scissors cutting in half, which basically says there's no such word as I can't, I can.
Yeah.
And I believe in that. I don't believe. I say to my 10-year-old granddaughter, she'll say, I can't do that. I said, yes, you can.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
You just have to try.
Yeah.
Have you tried? No. Well, try it. And then if you can't do it once you try it or you realise, well, I can do it, well, there you go.
There you go.
That's that mindset. You've got to change it.
That's it. Oh, well, anyway,
this has been bloody awesome, mate.
Good to have you.
Okay. And to all the Sparkies, I'm happy to work with you. And all you plumbers that are going to hang shit on us, fuck you.